All right, we about an hour in, so that's just my hops on that. We got to get into Hollywood Wackers. So Randy Quaid, if you guys don't remember, Randy Quaid had been on the run. Pretty much, him and his wife flee the country and had been on the run, but they didn't say they was on the run. And it's come to light now that among the fact that they can't even, it seems like a whole big setup as far as you can't come back into the country because you can't come back into the circle. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's starting to sound like. You can't come back into the circle that you done flee the shit, and now we can't, you know what I'm saying? We can't even sacrifice you and knock you out of here. So you better off staying out where you at, type shit. But Randy Quaid and his wife pretty much have fled the country, right? And they pretty much have been on the run and escaped from these Hollywood assassins, these people that have been known to knock off certain celebrities. Of course, we already know about celebrity sacrifices and whatnot, right? But there's an actual group and network of people that actually are hired to do this shit. And they pretty much are very aware of this, right? So came across this little documentary, Hollyweird Babylon.
It's a Hollywood story that at this point is stranger than fiction. Actor Randy Quaid and his wife arrested in Canada. A warrant was issued for them after they missed a court date in California. Now the couple, though, is refusing to come back to the States, saying they are afraid for their lives.
In September 2010, Randy Quaid and his wife Evie were arrested on theft and burglary charges. The couple was allegedly squatting in a home that did not belong to them.
She claims they are the real owners of the house, and the incident is all part of a larger conspiracy.
I genuinely feel like these people are trying to kill us.
And after posting bail, the two fled to Vancouver, British Columbia. After missing their court dates, Randy and Evie Quaid became fugitives from justice.
The couple, whose behavior has become increasingly erratic in the past few years, asked Canadian officials for asylum.
They petitioned Canada for asylum status, claiming...
I didn't realize I muted myself. Real quick, just wanted to just say, Icon, thank you so much. I did get that. Greatly appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much for that. Helps a long, long way. Just wanted to let you know I did get that, though.
Their lives were at imminent risk.
For the past 20 years, my wife Evie and I have been the victims.
Let me run it back real quick. Let me just run it back.
It's a Hollywood story that at this point is stranger than fiction. Actor Randy Quaid and his wife arrested in Canada. A warrant was issued for them after they missed a court date in California. Now the couple, though, is refusing to come back to the States, saying they are afraid for their lives.
In September 2010, Randy Quaid and his wife Evie were arrested on theft and burglary charges. The couple was allegedly squatting in a home that did not belong to them.
She claims they are the real owners of the house, and the incident is all part of a larger conspiracy.
I genuinely feel like these people are trying to kill us.
And after posting bail, the two fled to Vancouver, British Columbia. After missing their court dates, Randy and Evie Quaid became fugitives from justice.
The couple, whose behavior has become increasingly erratic in the past few years, asked Canadian officials for asylum.
See what I'm saying? As if they knew that pretty much them going to that court date was almost like a setup to keep them in the country so that could happen to them. They pretty much knew that somebody was after them already.
Petitioned Canada for asylum status, claiming their lives were at imminent risk.
For the past 20 years, my wife Evie and I have been the victims of criminal activities perpetrated by a small network of individuals who are out to destroy us personally, professionally, and financially. We believe there are to be a malignant tumor of star whackers.
Star whackers.
Star whackers.
Who are the star whackers?
What happened? Paranoid? That is so sad.
Well, because I know Randy.
Heath Ledger was murdered.
She is a raving lunatic.
I think he was drugged. I think he was slipped a Mickey.
Evie, will you shut up for a minute, please? Please.
Well, it seems like they're either crazy or on drugs.
And Robert Blake was set up.
There's a screw loose there, obviously.
Are either of you mentally unstable, schizophrenic, on drugs?
Do you think we are?
And do you understand how paranoid and delusional your client sounds?
I'm not going to comment.
When the news came out that Randy Quaid was on the run from the law and carrying on about a shadowy cabal of celebrity assassins coming after him, the whole ordeal became reduced to a punchline. Randy was seen as delusional and probably on something, and so the story fizzled out as he and Evie hid out in Canada. But what about the names Randy was naming? First, there were the 8 targets he alleged were murdered by the Star Wackers, including David Carradine and Heath Ledger. Did he know something we didn't? More to the point, what about the ring of shady lawyers, accountants, and estate planners that allegedly defrauded him systematically over the course of several years? Randy named several of them during the press conference, and 2 months prior, the Quaids filed a pro se lawsuit with the Los Angeles Superior Court, which outlined the matter in further detail. Was this legal filing simply 220 pages of lunatic ravings, or did the Quaids bring receipts? And what about Dennis Quaid?
Been a little tense the last few years.
Randy mentions his sibling.
Unfortunately, my brother Dennis has made matters worse,
but comes short of implicating him in any sort of wrongdoing.
I love my brother very much, and we have
We're worried
some differences, but we are. I'm concerned about him.
I recently discovered, much to my surprise, that Dennis is also on the deed to my Santa Barbara property.
I feel he's being victimized the same way that I've been by the same people.
However, they do name Dennis's then wife as one of the co-defendants in their lawsuit. So was Randy trying to protect his kid brother or throw him under the bus? While Dennis's generic handsomeness and workaday capability on set secured him steady leading man roles in productions of varying quality.
Dennis is now on a treadmill of making movies that are garbage.
Randy had established himself as a versatile performer with a measure of depth before becoming progressively typecast as a comic character actor specializing in supporting roles as the well-meaning eccentric nihilist. Both Randy and Dennis had lengthy and accomplished careers, yet in over 3 decades the two had only worked together twice. Could jealousy be at play here as well? In this video, we're going to see if we can make sense of all this. We're going to take a look back at how we got here, what exactly was taking place when Randy and Evie Quaid went on the lam, and what we've learned since then. It's a story of secrets.
See, pretty much, she actually had let people know that, there are Star Wackers out there. There are Hollywood assassins. But, of course, it's like the Martin thing, right? They're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill me. The Michael Jackson thing, they're trying to kill me. Nobody believes these stars. But they're telling y'all the truth out there. I said that before. They telling y'all. They literally telling y'all. Whitney Houston passing Brandy the note. Yo, they gonna kill me tonight.
Sibling rivalry, schemes and swindles, shifty bookkeeping, and the business side of stardom, with a heaping helping of sex, drugs, and rock and roll thrown in for good measure. This is Randy and the Star Wackers.
When you feel your heart start to explode, you'll be the #1 YouTube download. When you're more famous, when you die, they'll have more ways to suck you dry. Put your name and face on all the mags. Lots of pictures on your body bag.
You hear these lyrics? You hear these lyrics?
When you're gonna get and have no say, they'll sell your vital organs on eBay.
They'll sell all your organs on eBay. Like, he's pretty much whistleblowing in his own little rock song. His own little anti-Illuminati rock song. But he's talking about the elites and how they actually do the celebrities. Like, they're nothing but numbers waiting to actually die. And when they go, they're going to sell your kidneys on eBay. This is all a game. He was even talking about the MK Ultra that they put the celebrities through. You saw that in the beginning? He was even talking about the mind control they put them through. Randy Quaid was on the run because he was whistleblowing. He was letting everybody know. Just so y'all could, of course, some of y'all probably like, who the fuck is Randy Quaid still, right? This is Randy Quaid. Some of y'all might remember him from National Lampoon series. One of his biggest movies, of course, that I remember him from. I don't know if they got the picture of it here. They got the damn picture of it here, do they? Was he in Mars? Was it Mars? Am I getting it wrong? Was it Mars Attacks or Independence Day? I believe that was Independence Day, the picture I got. This is Star Wackers. Where's the picture I got? Where is Independence Day? Because I remember Randy Quaid being in Independence Day. Why don't they have him in Independence Day up here? Why don't they have that? Yeah, see? Thank you. It's an Independence Day. Because this is where the picture came from. This is where the cover came from. This is right before Randy sacrificed himself flying into the aliens. But anyway, yeah. But I was unfamiliar with who Randy Quaid is. Very renowned actor. People have called him like the B-list actor pretty much. He's always like the side guy. But he's always been one of those standout actors in the movie. In every movie, he's always been a standout role, regardless of what he does. We came from Saturday Night Live and that realm of things as well. And this is also going to detail how Saturday Night Live pretty much became like the avenue, almost like how Streamer University is right now with Kai Cenat. It became like the Streamer University, pretty much national Saturday Night Live became like the avenue for all the actors that would then go on to like the National Lampoon, and then they would spread out and have their own little careers. So you know how they had also like the Mickey Mouse Kids Club, and how all those kids that came up from the Disney kids came up from that era, and they had their own little shows, their own little movies and spread out. That's pretty much what Saturday Night Live was back in the day for actors. Okay?
Talking about Wackers! Wackers! Those cheesy star Wackers! Wackers! Those dirty tongue taggers! Wackers! Those sleazy star Wackers! 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 They're gonna put me in the movies. They're gonna make a big star out of me.
Beneath the bright lights, the red carpets and the velvet ropes, the limousines and the Lambos, beneath the glow of the silver screen, could it be that Hollywood really is controlled by a clandestine network of shadow assassins? To get to the bottom of this, let's start with Jaws 3D. Jaws 3D may well be the perfect metaphor for Hollywood itself in 1983. A bloated, self-indulgent, vacuous, half-assed cash grab that arrogantly insults its audience with over-reliance on gimmicky effects and too coked out of its gills to recognize...
Too coked out of his gills. Yo, that's a crazy way to identify that. Too coked out of his gills. Because back in the day, right, a lot, and I mean, it's very evident, right? Even nowadays, right? A lot of celebrities back in the day, they used to just do coke to do their shit, to get their shit done. I'm pretty sure nowadays they still do it, but you know, back in the day, it was like very evident. The cokeheads back in the day, that was, you know, the actors as far as that goes, not the musicians, just the cokehead actors that was doing that shit on set with the directors. You know what I mean? Just to get by with the day and get the movie shot. You know what I'm saying? That's why shit was getting done like water. Like movies took forever back in the day, of course, production wise, because you ain't got the technology that you got today. But that's how they was pumping them shits out. That's how they was doing them scenes, them stunt doubles and whatnot. Them coke. It was high as fuck. But you had to be a high ass nigga to release a movie like Jaws, the way that shit looked. You had. I'm telling you, like I'm kind of glad the era that I was born in, because if I kept saying this too. I was making a joke about it, but one day I was like, yo, these 60s and 70s kids, they starved the fuck out of y'all. They had to have, because some of y'all was deprived back in the day. Some of y'all didn't have nothing. Y'all had to really make the 60s and 70s kids. Y'all had to make do. Y'all had to make do. All my 40 and 50-year-olds that's in the chat, I applaud y'all. God bless y'all. Y'all had to make do with life. Y'all had to make do with what you had. Because looking at this Jaws movie, I'm like, y'all couldn't have thought this is real life. y'all couldn't have paid. What is?
As how obnoxious it comes across. By the late 60s, old Hollywood was bankrupt financially and creatively. Television continued to eat away at box office revenues, while the decrepit past masters of the golden age of cinema had fallen into a rut of indistinguishable historical epics, musicals, and westerns.
The Bible itself.
Their activities as far as narcotics are concerned, marijuana, LSD, these are making no contribution to their own lives, to the lives of the community of San Francisco, nor to society as a whole.
Meanwhile, the baby boom generation were now the highly prized 18 to 25 demographic. And the overarching message of the flower power movement was a deep disdain and distrust for older adults.
You mentioned and admitted on the stand that you've taken peyote and marijuana today.
Yes.
How does that affect your consciousness?
LSD too.
And LSD all today. How does that affect your consciousness and your ability to cope with questions from the floor?
Well, as you seem to know, I appear like any other human being. You don't notice anything different.
We're not hurting anybody. We're not doing anything wrong.
Out of desperation, the studio head started ceding control of production over to a fresh crop of young directors. The bleakness, violence, black comedy, and pessimism of films like Bonnie and Clyde, Cool Hand Luke, Rosemary's Baby, and Midnight Cowboy struck a chord with disaffected boomers. By 1974, this Renaissance era was in such full swing that Francis Ford Coppola was able to accomplish something no one believed was possible: a sequel that was actually better than the original. This was the Hollywood 20-year-old Randy Quaid came into when he was discovered by new Hollywood director Peter Bogdanovich in...
That's how far back he go. Godfather. That's, you want to talk about classic movies? Like, it's people that still watch Godfather to this day. And I'm talking about, when you watch Godfather, you can't just watch one Godfather. You got to watch the whole thing. And you talking about sitting there about, you might be there a weekend. The Godfather was the originator of, you're going to be the, we call it binge watching. Godfather was the original binge watch movie. Where you got to really sit there and watch that bitch. And you might go back to different, like, that shit was like a mafia Bible. The Godfather.
1970. Born and raised in Houston, Texas, Randy took up drama in high school and continued to study the theater arts at University of Houston when one of his teachers encouraged him to try out for a movie that was being shot in town.
I think there is a strong identity being from Texas. I think, aside from the accent, I think there's a... When you say you're from Texas, people immediately think of you a certain way, or tend to regard you in a certain way. That helped me, I know, getting the part in Last Picture Show, which took place in Texas, and coming out here, and it just gave me an identity that people could immediately grasp, and it helped me get started, certainly.
While some sources claim Randy had appeared uncredited in Bogdanovich's directorial debut Targets, this is not backed up with any substantive corroboration. And though that film is based on Charles Whitman and the 1966 tower shooting at the University of Texas, Targets was filmed in LA, making it even less likely that a 17-year-old lifelong Texan would have wound up on set. Regardless, Randy's scene-stealing moments among heavyweights like Sybil Shepherd and Jeff Bridges in The Last Picture Show made an impression on Bogdanovich, who brought Randy back for his next two films, What's Up, Doc? And Paper Moon.
Any experienced observer of shooting techniques will quickly sense the utterly new and different atmosphere created on the Bogdanovich set. No more the crass showmanship and slapdash of the old Hollywood.
I'm Peter Bogdanovich.
What's the picture you're making?
This little picture we're making today is
What's Up, Doc?
Called What's Up, Doc?
For his performance as a court-martialed Navy seaman alongside Jack Nicholson in Hal Ashby's The Last Detail, Randy was nominated for an Academy Award, a Golden Globe, and a BAFTA Award for Best Supporting Actor. Then in 1974, two things came out of Hialeah, Florida that would change everything. Large volume, high-quality cocaine, courtesy Colombia's Medellin cartel, and disco. From the very beginning, cocaine has always been Hollywood's drug of choice. After the passing of the 1914 Harrison Narcotics Act made it illegal, the scarcity and high price of coke made it an ideal display of conspicuous consumption, an expensive and therefore glamorous accessory that distinguished the stars from the common folk.
That isn't the way to use that.
While it always had a
gang. That was on a TV show. Like, how many was that? Like, the shit that's what I said, the shit that they was doing back then, like without nobody blinking a fucking eye is crazy. You couldn't get by with that shit in 2026. Somebody going right there on live TV. Like what? you could barely get away with it on YouTube. You could barely get away with it on a live stream. Like, gang, the shit that they was doing back then right in front of everybody, and it was just normal.
A degree of chic appeal among those who could afford it. Cocaine hadn't been widely fashionable in the 20th century.
Maybe, it is sort of the aura more than the drug itself.
But after the Medellin cartel decided to make it the cash crop of the northern Andes, dock powder flooded the streets of cities across the U.S. overnight. For the first time since criminalization, cocaine was accessible to the masses. And for the boomers who'd long since become burnt out on marijuana and LSD, nose candy was just the ticket. And the rigid 4-on-the-floor stomp of disco music offered the perfect soundtrack. With the two intrinsically linked, experts began a push to convince the public the drug was harmless and non-addictive.
Tonight, Steve Young considers the pros and cons of legalizing the drug.
But y'all can't do that shit for weed, though, right? Y'all couldn't. Yeah, I don't see nobody making no commercials for weed. Is good for you. Know what I mean? Weed has got health benefits and could help with nausea. And I don't see nobody making marijuana commercials. They made whole news reports saying, "Yo, you could snip cocaine. It's good for you." What? Yo, what was they doing back then? It's good for you. You know what I mean? It's benefits to this. There's benefits to this cocaine. I mean, get you some of this. It should be legal. What are y'all talking about?
The early fears of it as a hard drug. It's a very powerful and very destructive drug. As it's used in this country, have not turned out so far to be so.
There was a lot of propaganda to the effect that blacks use a lot of it and that it made blacks particularly dangerous, and that there were even some statements that it made blacks invulnerable to bullets.
The scientific evidence which was introduced.
I'm sorry. It made blacks invulnerable to bullets. It made blacks invulnerable to bullets. This is what they thought about us back then. They thought we was real live media man off the coke. They thought we was legit media man off this shit. Talking about it made blacks invulnerable to bullets. What? Wow. Wow, gang. Wow, gang. That's a new one right there. That's a new, hold up. I got, for those that didn't catch that part, right? This is how they thought of the coke back then. This is how they thought of the coke. Let me move it up a little bit.
Yeah, aura more than the drug itself.
But after the Medellin cartel,
Pros and cons of legalizing the drug.
The early fears of it as a hard drug. It's a very powerful and very destructive drug. As it's used in this country, have not turned out so far to be so.
There was a lot of propaganda to the effect that blacks use a lot of it and that it made blacks particularly dangerous, and that there were even some statements that it made blacks invulnerable to bullets.
The scientific evidence which was introduced in the trial does not indicate there'd be any harm if cocaine were decriminalized and if the price was low enough so that anybody who wanted could use it.
Fashion, boredom, lives lived at a swift pace of achieving or coping motivate the use of stimulants like cocaine.
See, the crazy thing is, right? They would say stupid shit like that back in the day because we were the ones selling it. Of course not. I don't think, maybe not around this time just yet. Well, yeah, probably around this time. But we were actually selling it. You know what I'm saying? We were actually out in the streets, like, getting to it with it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about us being users of it. Of course, there's probably some that was actually testing their own product, but then you have, of course, the never get high on your own supply rule, right? Of course, there was people that was abiding by that back in the day. So, of course, like I said, there was more people selling it than there was actually using it as far as our melanin was. But, of course, you probably had your musicians that was doing it. Know what I mean? But for the most part, the reason why they looked at it as at a bad thing with us, as you just heard, they thought that shit was, know what I'm saying? They thought that shit was like we call it an enhancer. Where for them it was an actual drug, a recreational fun drug. But that was just some of the things that they made up, of course, of why I mean why they made up just because we were actually, benefiting off of it. We were actually profiting off of it away from the American system. So they had to make up little dumb shit like that, of course, for reasons of why to look at more reasons to look at us in a bad light. I'll say it like that. But not here to make it about that, of course. But this is just some of the wild shit that you would be hearing back in the days when it comes to when it comes to early Hollywood. You know what I mean? Like just how much they were advertising you should be doing cocaine. Like, no, fuck weed. Weed gonna make you lazy. We gonna do this, that. No, do cocaine. All the actors, all y'all actors, y'all need to be doing cocaine. They literally was promoting that actors should be doing cocaine. That shit is wild to me. They was promoting it that y'all should be doing cocaine. That it's gonna benefit you and make you productive throughout the day.
I'd like it to be faster.
Anyone who's experienced a cocaine habit can tell you that the trap of it is that it works until it doesn't.
The Godfather Part 2, winner of 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture of the Year.
In the wake of the watershed moment that was The Godfather Part 2, moviegoers were treated to one timeless icon after another. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Dog Day Afternoon, Nashville, Carrie, The Omen, Taxi Driver, to name a few. Meanwhile, the $470 million windfall from Jaws in the summer of 1975 made the blockbuster the new mandate of the film industry. That fall, NBC debuted their sketch comedy show Saturday Night Live.
Well, we've got 8, and we're hoping for 2 to really work. So not all of these people will become stars.
The not ready for primetime players did little to hide their affinity, all but flouting their coke use on live television. When audiences ate up their bug-eyed antics, logic dictated that more was better. And this is the Hollywood Dennis Quaid came into.
When you grow up in your life and you're not prepared for a lot of things that come along with fame. It's like, the way I grew up in like a middle-class suburb, and then you have, all of a sudden, people are pay attention to you. I was a goonball in high school, And
pay attention to you. The crazy thing about anytime I looked at Dennis, he looked like he was high. From his jawline to his how nervous he always was, how fidgety he always was. Even in this goddamn interview, always fucking fidgety. I always knew his ass was high. That's why when they even started talking about the cocaine, he the first nigga I thought of. And here he come right along. I'm like, he was one of the first ones I started really noticing, like, that nigga is high.
People paying attention to you, you can get, I can see how somebody get carried away with that.
4 years Randy's junior, Dennis had followed in his brother's footsteps, dropping out of the University of Houston to pursue a career in acting.
An actor you may never have heard of, Dennis Quaid. How did Dennis Quaid, son of an electrical contractor in Houston, Texas, land a job starring in a Hollywood movie? Where did the
Hold on. You sell crack in the Berkeley Pharmacy, downtown Berkeley Pharmacy. 60s and 70s, senior citizens brought this to my attention back in the night. That's what I'm saying. Like, we was benefiting off it back in the day. The neighborhoods were benefiting off it back in the day, as far as making a profit off of it. So they didn't want to necessarily make it they didn't want to make it a thing where it would boost us as far as, selling it in the neighborhoods. They wanted to still make it, a bad thing for us making profit off it. But that's why they still made it like a high luxury thing for the rich and the actors. Yeah, he high. This nigga too be doing shit. He think he slick. We already know he been on it for years, but shout out to him. That's what I'm saying. Dennis Quaid always look high. That nigga always look high. Every time I seen him, he was always fidgety and unsure. Couldn't keep eye contact. Couldn't look at you in the camera. Nothing. I'm like, that nigga was always just laced.
Who brought the crew? Because real estate electrician doesn't produce a bunch of creatives. How did that happen?
My dad was a frustrated actor, actually.
Was your father a person who had early fame?
No, he had no fame.
He got his first break with an uncredited cameo in Crazy Mama.
Have you ever been with a liberated college girl, sir?
No.
I wouldn't push my luck. They are a wild bunch.
And his boyish good looks got him work in coming-of-age vehicles.
These college kids out here, they're never going to get old. They're out of shape because new ones come along every year. They're going to keep calling us cutters.
In 1980, he and Randy appeared together in The Long Riders, a high-concept Western that starred 4 sets of actors that were brothers in real life, playing gangs of brothers.
There were 9 men. They were 4 families of brothers, David, Keith, and Robert Carradine as Cole, Jim, and Bob Younger. James and Stacy Keach as Jesse and Frank James. Christopher and Nicholas Guest as the Ford brothers. Dennis and Randy Quaid as Clell and Ed Miller.
People that have been studied who have developed serious problems by chronic heavy use of cocaine tend to be people who were very well set financially, for whom money was no object.
As Hollywood entered the psychosis phase of long-term cocaine use, superficial spectacle became the order of the day. With the smash success of Star Wars, merchandising tie-ins became a core component of every would-be blockbuster that tried to emulate it, necessitating storylines that shifted the focus away from character development and narrative towards action and accessories.
Star Wars. You and your children loved it. Now your children can relive our great space battles or collect our wonderful Star Wars companions with Kenner's Star Wars action figures. The Star Wars TIE Fighter and X-Wing fighter. The Star Wars Land Speeder. And here's Kenner's Death Star space station. That's the Star Wars electronic laser battle. These and other toys and games in Kenner's Star Wars collection are sold separately.
Production was back in the hands of the suits in the boardrooms, where million-dollar decisions were made between rails. When sequels were no longer enough for them, executives scrambled for the next big thing. The best they could come up with was to revive 3D, a technique that enjoyed some popularity in the 50s, but didn't last due to the labor-intensive and frequently problematic projection equipment required to run it. This time, a hopped-up Hollywood was sure they could make it work if they threw enough money at it. When Paramount scored a win with Friday the 13th Part 3, Universal followed their lead for the next installment of the Jaws franchise.
How could there have been only one? The all-new Jaws 2.
Jaws 2 was profitable enough, but producers knew another lazy rewrite of the original might be pushing their luck, so they adopted the toyemic formula of Star Wars this time around.
For the first time, the terror of Jaws will not stop at the edge of the screen.
The lead characters Mike and Sean Brody were kept for canon and largely in name only, and plot is an afterthought that serves to link one over-the-top sequence to the next. In his time working and socializing in the industry, Dennis had already built up a healthy cocaine habit.
I was basically doing cocaine pretty much on a daily basis.
Well, how did it feel the first time you did it? I mean, like, you know.
Real scary. Real scary.
I grew up in the 60s and the 70s, and there was a completely different attitude about it back then.
There was a cover story in People magazine about, you know, that it was not addictive and that it was just a fun party
People
drug.
magazine. He'd been indoctrinated at an early age by the dubiously sourced propaganda.
See what I'm saying? Right there. Because this shit was heavily promoted, just so y'all know, when I go off camera like this sometimes, just because I'm trying to hit my little L, I can't have YouTube seeing me hit my little blunt. But anyway, it was so heavily promoted, right? He got addicted to it. And it got promoted that it wasn't an addictive drug. Imagine that. Back in the day. That's why I keep saying, y'all, 60s and 70s kids, I pray for y'all. I pray for y'all. Cause y'all had to go through some shit. Do you know I can see you? You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. Like they promoted it to these kids back in the day. The teens of the 70s, they promoted it to y'all. To where y'all wanted to do it. Talking about something, it's a fun party drug for the rich. It's just a nose candy. This whole time that shit was like it's being literally shoved up y'all fucking nose. Just to keep y'all, that was y'all control back in the day. While we got weed now, y'all had coke back. They was shoving the coke in y'all face back in the day in the 70s. It's crazy.
Of the legalized coke movement and never had occasion to question their misinformation, as he found it passed around on every set, in every agent's office, at every nightclub, and at every house in the hills.
She was like a peppermint. She was like you going to your grandma's house and having the peppermints in the candy bowl. That's how much coke was around back in the day. This shit crazy.
People go into
his nose is powdered up now. What the fuck am I looking at?
meetings and studios and it'd be on the table.
You're joking.
Yeah.
You're not joking.
I'm serious.
One of his recent movies was a starring role in a film called Caveman with Ringo Starr.
We did the movie in Mexico, in Durango, and we wrote a song called Deranged in Durango that has 45 verses.
But Jaws 3D would take things to another level, thanks in large part to the decision to film at SeaWorld in Orlando.
Even in some movie budgets.
It was in movie budgets.
You once said in an interview that cocaine was thinly disguised in the budgets of movies. Which of your movies do you think had the biggest budget in that area?
Probably the Jaws 3D. I would probably be.
Jaws 3D.
For me personally.
Really?
That would
just
be
a blowout.
Yes.
Yes.
Just a blowout. Because see, that's the thing, right? You would have to be high as hell to enjoy that movie. I'm just saying. You'd have to be as high as fuck to even be believing that to be acting with some of that shit with the shark. I'm pretty sure they had to be high as fuck to just be thinking that they was seeing an actual shark. I'm pretty sure that they was getting high, not as a recreational thing. They was doing that shit as an actual study for the movie. I'm pretty sure that shit was in preparation. Just so they could practice hallucinating. They used the cocaine for practice of hallucination. I guarantee that's what they were doing that shit for. Not even just to be fucking around and doing it and whatnot, just getting high on the job and whatnot. But I guarantee you they was using some of that shit for actual hallucination purposes. I'm trying to be a devil's advocate.
Yes. Had to get that shark some way.
Yes, exactly. A blizzard. Yeah.
South Florida was ground zero for cocaine trafficking.
I would say it's $1 billion business. Perhaps more.
And by 1982, competition had splintered off the Colombian gangs.
Dade County police predict even more killings as the warfare continues between the rival drug factions.
And the rampant violence that came out of it was glamorized in the film Scarface and the NBC series Miami Vice. For 5 months, thanks to the ever-present technical issues, Dennis spent day after day of extensive downtime awash in complimentary unlimited cocaine.
Could you tell?
Yeah, every frame.
Yeah. Really?
Co-star Louis Gossett Jr. later admitted to struggling with addiction during this time as well. Right before filming began, he was arrested in Malibu for possession, along with allegations Gossett was providing cocaine to children, including feeding his 7-year-old son spoonfuls of white powder, according to an affidavit from the arrest warrant.
Gang. But see what I'm saying? See how he get arrested and all this other shit, scandals and whatnot. Dennis Quaid getting this shit shoved in his face. And don't nobody bat an eye. Like, majority of these actors back in the day had that shit on them all the time. He getting arrested for the shit. Because he's struggling with the actual addiction of it. He's seeing the actual negatives of it. And it's fucking him up. He died of auto diseases. Yeah, rest in peace to Quentin Nelson. Autoimmune diseases. Okay. That shit fucked them up back in the day. But see, you're right. Yeah, it isn't laced like it is now. You say it's not laced like it is now. I wouldn't know, to be honest with you. I wouldn't know. to not to get too much on the serious side, but my dad did it. So, and I believe that's one of the main reasons that drove him to do the things he did and why he's also no longer here. Make a long story short. So that's why I will never do it. Okay? I will never go outside of weed because of what it led my father to do. So, when it comes down to them, when it comes down to how much I know this shit fucks y'all up, I should say fucks people up, I've been a witness to it in my own neighborhood as far as the crackheads and the cokeheads. So I'm very aware of, the destruction of it. Again, why I will never do it. But it's just crazy to me how much this shit, like, I came up in the early 90s. So I'm hearing now how much it was shoved in people's faces in the early 80s, and in the late 70s this shit was damn near promoted on television. That's the part that's fucking me up, is how much it was promoted on television in the 70s, where people was actually doing coke in the show in front of you. That's how much it was being promoted. You can't smoke a blunt on TV. Maybe unless you Snoop Dogg and you got a prop. But it's getting crazy out. It was crazy back then in the 70s with this shit. And like I said, you see a guy like him in the early 80s, the effects of this shit was starting to catch people. But what I'm noticing now where this documentary is even going, it's also talking about the early effects of the actual social programming that was going on amongst these actors in their circle, as well as the social programming that they were having to push as an agenda back then in Hollywood. You see what I'm getting at? Like, the fact that these actors were heavily promoted to do it, they actually ended up promoting it more outside to the public as well. And it became its own thing, which offsets, the CIA and the FBI being able to get it in on the streets, getting able to get the gun. You see how one thing will offset the other? Pretty much the entertainment world feeding the inner city street world.
The charges were later dropped for lack of evidence.
It was a setup, and it was...
In other words, the agendas bouncing off of each other and the elites being able to hit multiple avenues at once without any of y'all even noticing.
I was exonerated completely. But the truth part was that I did get on drugs. I had plenty of time and no work. And and it happens with a lot of us. I was watching Joan Rivers today, and the kid started at 12.
Jaws 3D earned $88 million that summer.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Applause for that, bro. Applause for that. 4 weeks. Applause for that. It take time. Know what I'm saying? And then cigarettes, that's cigarettes. I stopped smoking cigarettes when I was 19. Either 18 or 19, I stopped cigarettes. Because I remember talking to my homeboy T Money. I've been talking to my boy T Buddy. And he was pretty much saying this. He was talking to, I forgot who he was talking to, right? But he was saying how, because we was watching him, right? And he pretty much he would take a puff of it, but he would just blow it right back out. Like, he wasn't really inhaling it. He was pretty much smoking it to look cool. Like, it got to a point where some of the kids around the neighborhood that wasn't supposed to be smoking cigarettes, they just was smoking that shit just to look cool. They was getting $5 packs of cigarettes just to look cool and shit because they saw older people doing the shit. And T Money hit him with like, yo, you ain't even inhaling the shit. What the fuck you even got a $5 pack of cigarettes? Man, give me your goddamn pack of cigarettes. You don't need this shit. And that was the other thing, right? I started realizing the same shit. Like, yo, I got fucking cigarettes and Black and Mild shit. I'm doing this shit to look cool. I ain't that stressed to need a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? I ain't that fucking stressed out. I'm doing the same thing my uncle is doing. You know what I'm saying? Smoking a cigarette after my blunt and whatnot. Like I said, I'm 18, 19 years old doing that shit. But I had been doing this shit since I was like 16. You know what I'm saying? Smoking cigarettes. So it was like you doing this shit just out of habit because you see other people doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at here with the social programming. Like because of how it was so promoted back in the day, in the late 70s or early 80s, how much it was a cool thing for these kids to be doing cocaine. Them saying that shit just trickled on down. It just trickled on down. So I could definitely see how the influence of could definitely happen and bounce off. I could definitely see how the agendas could bounce off. And like I said, even from that day when I served that conversation between T Money and his homie, I was like, yo, the fuck am I even smoking this shit for? I remember the last time I smoked the Black and Mild. I'll never forget. I had smoked two back to back like they was blunts. I was 17. I was in a room though, and I was in a closed room at that. You talking about head spinning? I'm talking about spinning, rim spinning. Like I was dizzy as fuck, almost fell down the stairs. I passed out on the couch for about an hour and a half. I said, no more. I don't even like the smell of Black and Milds no more. Them shits hurt my stomach. I can't do it. But yeah, I can understand the habits of that can, like I said, you can get influenced very easily. If the shit is heavily promoted for you to do. I could definitely see that happening to them back in the day. Like I said, the complimentary coke budgets on set. Bowls of cocaine. They walking into the casting, bowls of cocaine. Here, sniff this, read your lines. What?
Not quite 470 million like the first film, but better than Jaws 2's 53 million. In the astronaut training drama The Right Stuff that year, Dennis proved himself to be a capable performer that took well to the camera, and he soon established himself as a leading man for the 80s.
You're looking at him. It's well-deserved in a lot of ways.
How good an actor is Dennis? We'll ask the director if we can find him. Which one is he? Well, this is the director, Ron Maxwell.
He's one hell of an actor. He's got a real screen presence. And, you know, there's a lot inside, behind the eyes, in the soul.
1983 was also the year Randy Quaid picked up the role that would go on to overshadow his career. He continued to gain notice in dramatic vehicles like Alan Parker's Midnight Express in 1978. But serious roles had begun to feel stifling to Randy.
How come I'm always the one that has to do these things like change a tire?
Especially after the epic fail of 1981's Heart Beeps.
Agreed.
Where he'd played straight man to a robot Andy Kaufman.
Kind of the movie that was dreamed up over the wrong lunch. You know, maybe they ordered the wrong wine or something.
There is no story. You march them out in the woods, you bring them back. It's terrible.
Then he got the chance to work for one of the hottest and most subversive names in comedy at the time. The Harvard Lampoon was started up on campus in 1876 and today prides itself on being the world's oldest continually published humor magazine. In 1969, a commercial edition called the National Lampoon was launched. The wry wit and edginess of the content made it popular among boomers who'd begun to outgrow Mad Magazine, and they tried their hand at branching out into radio and live reviews.
Well, I'm a congressman from Cleveland. I took kickbacks all the time. Now I'm stuck here in prison farm, doing 99 years? No, hours.
Our male listeners today will now be approached by Ellen Matterson, a dynamite chick who comes to the National Lampoon Radio Hour Singles Bar of the Air every week, always hoping to find that perfect mate who will love her, care for her, and help to raise her children. Will that perfect mate be you?
I smoke Virginia's.
I just realized who I was sitting in front of. I saw Egon from Ghostbusters, and I was like, wait a minute. Who's that right there? I saw him in the corner of my eye just now. And then I hear Bill Murray. I'm like,
our male listeners today will now be approached by...
Yeah, there you go, Egon right there with the glasses. I was like, oh, shit. I forgot his actual name, though. Let me be respectful, though. Egon Spengler. Spengler, actor name. What was his actual name? Harold Ramis, yes. Rest in peace to Harold Ramis. Died in 2014. I love the tribute that they did to him too. I love the tribute they did to him, and that was a tearjerker that they did. If you saw, spoiler alert, Ghostbusters Afterlife, they put the spirit of Harold Ramis in there. That was pretty. That was a tearjerker right there. Definitely a tearjerker right there.
By Ellen Matterson, a dynamite chick who comes to the National Lampoon Radio Hour.
Gilda Radner, right here. Yeah, she died. She died of cancer earlier. Rest in peace to her as well. Nick Nolte smokes Black and Miles in his movie North Dallas 40. The movie owner tells him, "You didn't score the touchdowns. We planned that to happen," or something to that effect. It was, I said, too much promotion, man. Too much promotion of that shit. Way too much promotion of that shit to us.
Singles bar of the air every week. Always hoping to.
But you don't see weed you see weed in B movies and shit like that. You see weed as weed. They call it just like that. Weed movies. Like How High was probably the most promoted weed movie you could think of. And that was before the shit was legal. That was still when niggas was getting locked up for it on the streets.
To find that perfect mate who will love her, care for her, and help to raise her children. Will that perfect mate be you?
I smoke Virginia Slims, but I never inhale.
A number of the Lampoon staff ended up on Saturday Night Live, and after their first effort at feature films, Animal House became an unexpected hit in 1978 and launched John Belushi's movie career. National Lampoon became the initial connective tissue between SNL and Hollywood. Animal House not only kicked off the wave of slobs versus snobs romps that would become ubiquitous, but it also set the tone for comedy going into the 80s. Juvenile sex humor mixed with crass vulgarity.
Oh, here she comes.
Go up, go up.
Oh, no. Oh! That nerd saw me naked.
At the busy National Lampoon offices in Washington, D.C., we have been working for years to create our first film since National Lampoon's Animal House.
Though their next two efforts, Class Reunion and Movie Madness, did considerably more poorly.
You'll leave the theater in delight.
National Lampoon's Vacation was a huge commercial success in 1983.
You are a trip.
Well, Eddie's a trip. He's one of my favorite characters. The basic character of Eddie is based on a boss I had once. I used to work at Baskin Robbins, and this guy owned the store, and I based his character on him.
Randy's standout performance as Ellen Griswold's cousin Eddie Johnson would go on to become his career-defining role.
Yeah, I bet you could use a cooling, huh?
Now you're talking.
He's quite a guy. He's got his own agenda.
Well, I bet you I'm gonna be a big star. I might win an Oscar, you can never tell.
In 1959, the National Broadcasting Company brought together an esteemed group of scientists, writers, comedians, and lawyers to create a TV show so daring, so original, that only now, 25 years later, can it be shown to you, the American public.
On January 6, 1984, Lorne Michaels made his return to NBC after leaving Saturday Night Live 4 years earlier. The new show was essentially a pre-taped primetime version of SNL, gathering back together much of the talent from the not ready for primetime era, along with SCTV's Dave
That's funny as hell. They didn't even have a name for this shit. The new show.
Thomas, and featuring several guest performers, along with a musical guest each episode. On February 10th, Catherine O'Hara was featured, along with both Randy and Dennis. The two appeared together in 3 sketches on the episode, 2 of which, Commandos from Hell and Surprise, are not currently available. Their surviving sketch together, Phone...
I must say, that's another legend right there they named. Kathy O'Hara. That's another OG right there.
Fantasy Club has the two...
the mother from Home Alone.
Playing a pair of hicks who go to absurd lengths to obtain a credit card so they can call a 900 number.
You gentlemen want to qualify for a credit card, it's all very cut and dried. You have to have a steady job. You have to open a bank account.
Yeah, we can do that.
And establish a positive credit rating.
Well, how do we do that, establish a positive credit rating?
Well, the easiest way is to buy something on credit. Like, for example, a household appliance, like maybe a washing machine.
Randy appears in the cold open.
Hold it right there, stranger. What do you want?
I'm looking for work, ma'am.
You look like a drifter to me. Just what kind of work would you know how to do?
Well, I can restore 17th century Flemish landscape paintings.
I got a guy who does that.
And Dennis gets his own sketch, Mental Telepathy.
Wow. Mental telepathy.
Why don't you come over here and let me see that book?
Mental telepathy sure is a great way to meet girls.
Hi, my name is Daryl. Here's the book.
Would you mind staring at someone else, please?
The mid-season replacement was rated 99th out of 99 on the Nielsen charts for the entire 1983 to 84 season, and was canceled after 9 episodes. Meanwhile, GE suit Dick Ebersol and, truth be told, Eddie Murphy had saved Saturday Night Live from the scrap heap after the catastrophe of Gene Dumanian's infamous 1980 to 81 season.
Oh man, it's the first time I've ever been shot in my life. I'd like to know who fuck did it.
I'm going to produce this because I think it's great, no matter what.
But by 1985, it was back on life support, and NBC was desperate enough to bring back Lorne Michaels as showrunner in hopes of reviving the old magic.
It happens when you're working in that kind of pressure and you're desperate.
Live returns to television next month, and the show's producers held a press conference in New York to announce an all-new cast. MTV News was on hand to see who the next John Belushi and Billy Crystal might be.
With the show in danger of cancellation, Lorne Michaels, creator of Saturday Night Live, is returning after a 5-year absence. On Saturday, he presented the new cast.
Al Franken, not a cast member. Randy Quaid, a cast member.
Randy had made enough of an impression on Lorne that he was first to be hired for the new cast overhaul. Season 11's repertory players would be made up of 35-year-old Randy, 5 then unknowns that came up through auditions, and...
I was going to say, didn't they all play in a movie together? Just the more I look at that picture, I'm like, didn't they all play in a movie together at one point?
In a nakedly crass effort to appeal to a younger Gen X audience. From the John Hughes teen comedy stable, Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Michael Hall, and Joan Cusack.
They were all chosen because in some way or another they impressed me as remarkable. And I think that that's all the only instinct I can go on. The original cast were all people who impressed me as remarkable, and I was 10 years younger.
In the past, Saturday Night Live cast members have gone on to star in movies, but this year, several cast members were selected who had previous movie experience.
I had hesitations about this show when I was approached about it because I had thought of myself as an actor. And doing sketch comedy was something that I wasn't really familiar with. I mean, I'd seen a lot of it. I've always been a big fan of this show, and I thought it'd be fun to do.
The cast and the writing were, to say the least, uneven.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let me go back to that. Let me go back to that picture. We might just sidestep that because
that came up.
It's a very iconic picture right here. There's a lot of people right here. So not too familiar with some of them. I can't remember who he is, but I do remember the shows that he was in. I believe he was also in Weird Science, the one in the middle. Of course, you got Randy up there. Robert Downey Jr. We need to move this up a little bit because I was trying to see somebody else that was on the right side.
Overhaul. Season 11.
Yeah, I was trying to see him. I forgot his name right here. These two right here I'm familiar with, but I can't remember their names. But he was a very funny one too. He's a very sidekick actor, C actor too. That was pretty damn funny. And she, I do believe, went on to do a lot of different movies. It's just not catching me with the movies that she was in right now. But I am familiar with her on the right side. David Tarantino, what's going on? To Al Franken, the rapist. Is that who that is right there? Or is that no? That's him right here, right? Anthony Michael Hall. Okay. Couldn't remember his name. But hold on, let me see something. Al Franken, you said, right? I want to see who that was in that picture right there I just seen with the hair. Okay, yeah, that was him. Okay, that's what I was trying to put. I'm like, why can't I pinpoint who this is? But that's this guy here, I believe. Right? Same guy? That the same gentleman? Who's Anthony Michael Hall? Let me see. Anthony Michael Hall. Is that who that is? Okay, so that's who that is. All right. Yeah. I couldn't remember his damn name. The one in the middle. Anthony Michael Hall. That's him in the middle. Okay. I couldn't remember his name at all. I could not remember his damn name at all. But yeah, from Weird Science. That's where I remember him from. Weird Science. That was my shit. Oh yeah, he was in Breakfast Club. I forgot. Breakfast Club, my homie with the shades. Oh yeah. Okay, he was in that too. And of course, yeah, National Lampoon. I didn't see Dead Zone, none of that shit. But yeah, Weird Science, that was my shit that I remember him from. All right, so I might as well get rid of that. Keep that up.
Repertory players would be made up of 35-year-old Randy, 5 then unknowns that came up through auditions, and in a nakedly crass effort to appeal to a younger Gen
I don't like how they called him an unknown. He ain't an unknown.
X audience from the John Hughes.
I mean, I don't remember his name right now, but he ain't an unknown.
Teen comedy stable, Robert Downey Jr., Anthony Michael Hall, and Joan Cusack.
Joan Cusack. Okay, that's her damn name. What was she in? Cause she's still acting to today, ain't she? She ain't passed yet. Yeah, she's 63 years old. She's still acting to today. She's in a lot of shit. Shame on me. She is in Shameless. Oh, damn. I forgot she is in Shameless. Addams Family, the wife from Addams Family. Yeah, shame on me. She's in a lot of shit that I've seen. I don't know what part of Toy Story she was in. She's in a lot of shit that I've seen, Joan Cusack. God damn. Excuse me. Gross Point Blank. Why does that sound familiar? But I don't remember watching it. Okay. Excuse me, Miss Joan. Excuse me. You got a resume. You got a resume. Working girl. You definitely got a resume.
We're all chosen because in some way or another they impressed me as remarkable. And I think that's the only instinct I can go on. The original cast were all people who impressed me as remarkable, and I was 10 years younger.
And she was in Chicago? Goddamn. Like I said, she got a resume on her.
In the past, Saturday Night Live cast members have gone on to star in movies, but this year, several cast members were selected who had previous movie experience.
I had hesitations about this show when I was approached about it because I had thought of myself as an actor, and doing sketch comedy was something that I wasn't really familiar with. I mean, I'd seen a lot of it. I've always been a big fan of this show, and I thought it'd be fun to do.
The cast and the writing were, to say the least, uneven.
Oh, okay. All right, better take me to the hospital.
And from what I was able to review, Randy seems mostly underutilized.
Go get him, Tiger.
And his screen time gets diminished by the antics of his co-stars.
You're that guy from the game, Mr. Monopoly. In the flesh.
People will, as they always do, will prefer the old Coke to the new Coke.
But lasting only one season on SNL didn't appear to hold back Randy's career too much. TV movies had been a steady source of work since he appeared in Guyana Tragedy in 1980. In 1987, his portrayal of Lyndon Johnson in the NBC movie LBJ: The Early Years would go on to win him a Golden Globe for Best Lead Actor.
Well, Johnson had a tremendous drive, tremendous determination, perseverance. He had the energy of about 5 men. I really was quite taken by the way he just pushed himself to the very limits and beyond, and then those around him who worked for him, he pushed them and drove them very hard. He was just a real driven man who had his eye on the very top, and he never looked back. We're going to do the presidential years after this one, if this show goes well, so I'll probably lift the beagle in that production.
Oh, so the presidential years is already in the works, huh?
Well, it's not in the works, but there's been some discussion about doing that.
The same year, while working with Madonna again on Bloodhounds of Broadway, Randy met 26-year-old Evgenia Motolinez, a production assistant who'd been assigned to drive him around. Randy was still married to his first wife of 7 years, Ella Jolly, with whom he had a daughter, Amanda, who was 4 years old at the time of filming. He nevertheless proposed to Evie that night, and on October 5th, 1989, the two got hitched at San Isidro Ranch outside Santa Barbara.
You can make Ryan over there with Dennis.
And it is here, according to the Quaid.
Meg look high as fuck in this picture. What is going on here?
It's 2010 legal filings that all the trouble began. On October 20th, the newlyweds purchased a home in Montecito with a down payment of $350,000 and a mortgage through Chase Bank for $1 million. The transaction was to be handled by Randy's business manager, Warren Grant, and his attorney at the time, Lloyd Braun. Now,
pay attention to these names.
If the name Lloyd Braun sounds familiar, there's a reason.
When I was searching Lloyd Braun, you were like the hardest thing to find, and all I could find is Serenity Now clips on YouTube, basically.
This guy from my old neighborhood, Lloyd Braun. Listen, you guys haven't seen Lloyd Braun, have you?
Lloyd, yes. Hello.
He was a Seinfeld joke. Lloyd Braun was a Seinfeld joke.
Lloyd Braun, what do you have to meet him for?
Are you the same person? Is it a different person?
As what?
As Lloyd Braun on Seinfeld.
Yes, that is me, but that is not me as an actor. That is the result of a golf bet gone awry with Larry David.
Gentlemen, I found a way to beat Lloyd Braun.
The reason that you constantly hear George and George's mother and everybody, oh, that Lloyd Braun, we love that Lloyd Braun, that Lloyd Braun, that Lloyd Braun.
Morning, Braun. What is Lloyd Braun doing here?
Georgie, Lloyd Braun is here.
Hey, Lloyd! That's all I ever heard growing up is why can't you be more like Lloyd Braun? You never could compete with Lloyd Braun!
It's always Lloyd Braun. It's never Lloyd. It's because every single time they say Lloyd Braun, it's Larry sticking it to me.
Don't you see? He was doing it to fool Lloyd Braun. You know, he was in a mental institution.
Serenity now, insanity later.
According to Quaid's 2010 legal filings, in the course of settling the purchase of their Montecito home, Lloyd Braun inserted himself and his wife Lauren into their escrow account, creating a pooled loan arrangement without their knowledge. The mortgage on the Quaid's home was somehow paid off within a month of them moving in, though no record exists through City National Bank, who they banked with exclusively at the time. The Brauns attached multiple loans to the escrow account that the Quaids continued to pay off. Randy and Evie would later allege this setup allowed Braun to embezzle upwards of $17 million from the couple.
Well, Lloyd's a very industrious fellow. I'm sure he can accomplish anything he sets his mind to.
Meanwhile, Dennis had begun dating his co-star on the 1987 sci-fi comedy Inner Space, Meg Ryan, and the two would be married in 1990. Behind the picture-perfect Hollywood couple's 10-year marriage, Meg's career ascent was bookended by a trio of era-defining rom-coms: When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, and You've Got Mail.
Back when I was on cocaine.
So a fired up season of your life.
Yeah. Great balls of fire.
While Dennis coasted on autopilot, did blow and expressed his disdain for her success by flouting his serial infidelity.
Well, my marriage was I think I have to talk about it in a way that's most respectful to my son. Yeah. It was a very unhealthy marriage.
Anybody got any thoughts?
Jealousy. Oh, beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on.
I ain't gonna hold you. How you cheat on a Meg Ryan? I had a crush on Meg Ryan. How you cheat on a Meg Ryan? That's like with Eric Ben. That's like everybody wanted to smack the shit out of Eric Benet for losing to Halle Berry. Like, nigga, how you do that? Nigga, how you cheat on? Nigga, how?
A 2010 Vanity Fair article includes accounts from unnamed sources claiming Evie was nakedly jealous of Meg as well, leading to tension at family gatherings. Evie herself claimed Meg was in fact envious of her and tried to steal her style cues. Meg declined to comment on the matter altogether. Another milestone event for Randy came in 1989 in the form of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. While Christmas Vacation was a box office success upon release, it picked up a strong cult following on home video that has since elevated it beyond the original National.
Yeah, they just offset a whole bunch of them. You got nothing but Christmas Vacation movies now. You got nothing but Christmas Vacation movies now. Or offsets of. All because of that one damn movie.
Lampoon franchise.
You serious, Clark?
In this one, there are a few more scenes than in the original one, so I really got to know Eddie a little better and was able to expand on the character a lot more.
I don't know about the cat, but I sure am enjoying it.
There's something kind of sweet about him. There's one scene that I thought, you kind of think, oh, hey, here's a guy just trying to get along, poor thing doesn't realize what he does to other people.
Yeah, he means well. And
that sums him up.
Yeah.
His iconic moments from the film arguably cemented Cousin Eddie as Randy Quaid's career-defining role, for better or worse.
Shitter was full!
But I was laughing at your expense, so...
Well, good. Then I succeeded.
You did what you were paid to do.
While Randy had carved himself a niche as a strong supporting actor, some say Evie had designs of her husband as a leading man.
What do you think about me taking that job as principal?
In the spring of 1991, Lloyd Braun advised Randy he'd been approached by Marcy Carsey and Tom Werner, the powerhouse producers behind Roseanne and The Cosby Show. They wanted Randy for their latest sitcom in development. To show their eagerness to have Randy on board, Braun told them, the producers were prepared to make a generous upfront offer. And best of all, Braun added, once the show made it to syndication, Randy could expect a $40 million payout. Braun encouraged the Quaids to take advantage of a zero-interest mortgage on a new home in North Beverly Hills and offered to set them up with a buyer for their Montecito house.
Hey, Jerry, Lloyd wants to do you a favor.
Hi, Jonathan and I want to tell you about our new show, Davis Rules.
Yeah, it's about this overweight woman. Huge woman.
No, that's Roseanne. We love you. Dear old Dad.
There's a lot of that in the core.
You never know what'll happen on Davis Rules.
Davis Rules premiered January 27th, 1991 on ABC, following Super Bowl 25. But as Randy's portrayal of the widowed high school principal Dwight Davis veered between character and caricature, the ratings dropped precipitously, and ABC canceled.
Said Holly probably had a potential male suitor in Eric's. So, I mean, yeah, there's probably a few people that was in the DMs, but it probably wasn't, she was in love with Eric Benet. Let's just say it like that. She's in love with Eric Benet. So that took her a while to get over, I'm sure. That's it. She probably still ain't get over that one. Just to be on the honest side. You could tell she probably never really got over that one. As Holly still is not married to this day, I don't think, right? She still ain't married to this day. Yeah, not even I think. She still ain't married to this day. So that one affected her heavily. And yeah, you're right. When you raise your hand, woman, you lost. Automatically you lost.
The mid-season replacement after 13 episodes.
Davis fights.
Hi, we just wanted to ask you to watch our show on Wednesday nights because he's really great in it.
Oh, come on now. You're great.
Oh, no, you are.
She's really good.
You
I've
are.
never worked with anyone.
He's very good.
You're great.
No, you
Wonderful.
are great. Dad, who's great in the show?
I am. I won the Emmy. Davis Rules. Previews Monday at 8, 7 Central.
That should have been mine.
CBS tried to overhaul it in 1992 by adding Bonnie Hunt and Giovanni Ribisi to the cast.
Where was I before I was born?
But 16 tepidly received episodes later, Davis Rules was mercifully put to pasture on May 13th, 1992. The following year, Alex Winter cast Randy for his directorial debut, which was initially pitched as Beach Blanket Bingo meets Evil Dead. 20th Century Fox had high hopes for Freaked, with plans to tie in a novelization, graphic novel, and toy line to the property. But as Winters and co-writer Tom Stern's evolving vision of the project clashed with studio interference, resulting in Rupert Murdoch handing down draconian budget cuts. Following poorly received test screenings and a flop debut, Freaked was burned off with a VHS release on April 20th, 1994.
It's a game to him. He gets to make all the rules.
TV movies continued to keep Randy in steady work up to 1996.
This is perfect!
With back-to-back hit roles in Kingpin and Independence Day, which held the claim of the second highest grossing film of all time, behind Jurassic Park, before James Cameron capsized the box office game the following year with Titanic. Randy returned as Cousin Eddie for a third time in Vegas Vacation, the first in the Vacation franchise not to include National Lampoon in the name due to John Hughes having no involvement.
10 years of tap dancing lessons and this is how you repay me?
Can you believe it? They used to test H-bombs on this beautiful piece of property.
Don't you worry about radiation?
All I know, Clark, is that my teeth have never been whiter and my garden is spitting out 50-pound tomatoes.
What happened was, what's going on?
Vegas Vacation turned a profit, but was panned by critics and remains a somewhat divisive entry in the fandom.
I'm starting my vacation!
In March 1998, work began on Randy Quaid's debut as writer, producer, director, The Debtors. The Quaids put $3.5 million of their own money into the film, with an additional $12.9 million coming from Microsoft icon Charles Simonyi. The Debtors initially had Burt Reynolds and Joan Cusack slated for the cast before Michael Caine was brought on to
wrote it because she believes in it and because I'd never worked with a woman director, and it was really smashing. She had lots of women on the set, so testosterone was down to a very low level, which pleased me. It started being macho all the time. As to whether or not it's any good, your guess is as good as mine. Comedy's a bit like parachute jumping. Sometimes nothing happens. There's no such thing as a mediocre comedy. It's either very funny or it sinks like a stone. We'll see.
Let me just say, I cannot be the only one that heard that in the voice that he played for the Lord of the Rings. I cannot be the only one that heard it in that little gremlin voice from Lord of the Rings. I cannot be the only one here.
Big cheese. You're in way over your head here, Freddy.
But I can beat these guys.
And just so y'all don't know what I'm talking about, this is what I heard when I heard him here reading that. Gollum. I thought of Gollum immediately. When I heard that just now, I heard the Gollum. I'm sorry, that's what he played, but anyway.
I belong here. Don Big Bucks. Chance wanted me to sit in for him. You're not a fag, are you?
After a private screening of the final cut, his publicist remarked, "Caine has reservations." A test screening was held in Seattle in April 1999. On top of the reportedly vitriolic audience feedback received, Charles Simonyi was disgusted in particular by a cameo appearance by German industrial band Rammstein involving a squirting rubber penis.
And I was really frustrated by this.
Drama. Lucky girl.
The film ended up tied up indefinitely in court battles, though the couple was said to have screened a recut at the Toronto Film Festival on September 13th under the title High Expectations. The Debtors was said to have seen a digital release in 2022, though Rammstein was not made aware of this at the time. On January 6, 2000, Randy and Randy Quaid filed for bankruptcy. In June, Meg Ryan released a statement announcing her separation from Dennis.
I mean, the tabloid aspect of it was really heartbreaking.
Though Meg had begun dating Russell Crowe by this time,
You took a lot of heat for that.
Yeah.
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 she would later state the marriage was well beyond repair before he came into the picture.
And it was pretty much not a happening marriage for a very long time. I probably should have left much earlier.
Evie tried to help Dennis by replacing some of the artwork Meg had taken with her with an Andy Warhol print. And while Evie would later plead ignorance in the matter, her choice of a portrait of American Indian Movement activist Russell Means was enough to cause a huge family blowout. As Randy continued to regain his footing after filing for bankruptcy, the professional embarrassment of appearing in 2002's The Adventures of Pluto Nash was arguably eclipsed the following year, with his fourth and final turn as Eddie Johnson in the least dignified entry in the Vacation franchise, the Hallmark grade made-for-TV Christmas Vacation 2 Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. A turnaround began to shape up for Randy, with a supporting role in 2005's sleeper hit Brokeback Mountain. Randy would later allege Brokeback was presented to him as a low-budget independent art house production in order to negotiate a fee below his fair market value.
You can't do
that. Why the hell not?
And given to what that movie actually was, I'm already seeing the play here. You in bankruptcy. You pretty much almost on your way out of Hollywood. The well done dried up as far as the good roles is concerned. You need a movie. Gonna put you in this one. And we'll see how it turn out for you. But this gonna be the one that bring you back. Unfortunately. Pun intended, I guess pun intended, pun unintended.
You think the Army's going to give you special allowance just because you're Elvis Presley?
The same year, he won a Saturn Award along with nominations for a Golden Globe and a Primetime Emmy for his performance as Colonel Tom Parker in the NBC miniseries Elvis. The Quaids would later allege no payment was received for his work on Elvis, nor were any expected royalties or residuals coming in from the home video release of Brokeback Mountain. Then Randy scored an opportunity that promised to be a game changer for his career.
The video crew went behind the scenes yet again, this time to get a first look at the upcoming Broadway musical, Lone Star Love. This new comedy boasts an exciting cast, including Robert Cuccioli, Dee Hoty, and Randy Quaid, who is making his anticipated Broadway debut.
He was going to make his Broadway debut.
One thing you could definitely say about Randy throughout his career, the nigga was never scared to try anything. He was never saying no to anything, if you realize. He was trying every fucking thing. I'm talking about every day. We done heard him come through the ringer with acting, right? Since the 60s, 50s, 60s. Been through it all with acting.
Playing one of the most celebrated...
He looked damn like a time traveler at this
roles in the
like a damn time traveler.
History of theater. Sir John Falstaff started out as a recurring character across several Shakespeare plays before taking on a life of his own in the opera.
So many dimensions to Falstaff. You know, Shakespeare wrote him in a couple of the Henry plays, and then Queen Elizabeth, so the story goes, loved the character of Falstaff so much he asked Shakespeare to write a play for him where he falls in love, and that became Merry Wives of Windsor.
When you're playing a character like Falstaff that is so famous and has been played so many times in history, you want to start with those acting chops, and Randy's an amazing actor.
Lone Star Love was a musical adaptation of Shakespeare's The Merry Wives of Windsor, set in Texas.
The main draw for me was the music. I mean, if you're going to take Shakespeare and adapt it to 1865 Texas, I guess this is your play, your show.
Hard times is over, let the big dog run. People, let me show you how the West was won.
It's a real honor, you know, to play a character that is so well known, you know, throughout the history of literature, and then to put him in a setting of Texas, and I'm from Texas, so I felt like, well, if I'm going to do Broadway for the first time and a musical for the first time, Texas would be something I'm familiar with.
He's really just a kind of a larger-than-life force and energy, but he's also incredibly down-to-earth and just like really generous and really giving.
Did you ever see a fat man jump? Did you ever see an elephant fly? What goes down might come up, I'll tell you the reason why. When opportunity knocks and it won't stand still, nobody got in the hen house, you know who will. Make your heart go thumpity, thumpity, thump. Ever see a fat man jump? I mean, did you ever see a fat man jump?
The composer and musical director, Jack Herrick, later told Vanity Fair,
Evie became more and more involved, and as that happened, it became more and more contentious.
He ended up in a very strange costume of his and Evie's creation. Randy had dyed his hair beet red and started wearing a football-sized codpiece, which Evie described.
It was a huge cock. It was fucking great. It looked like gay Vivian Westwood.
According to an anonymous source, drug use was prevalent during rehearsals in Seattle and at the hotel where they stayed. In an email to another cast member, Evie acknowledged that on one occasion, she and Randy had taken
too much Ambien, resulting in psychotic paranoid reactions. I really wanted to jump out of a window. Randy felt like a serial killer. We got a doctor to give us a sedative and it was over.
The final straw came when, during a performance, Randy slapped one of his co-stars in the head 4 times and improvised remarks about another female co-star's gynecological instruments. Evie defended the behavior as Randy being in character. Randy claimed stage blocking was altered in an effort to kill him, supposedly for insurance money.
Well, I hope you enjoy your preview.
Oh, and here we go.
The behavior as Randy being in character. Randy claims stage blocking was altered in an effort to kill him, supposedly for insurance money.
Well, I hope you enjoy your preview of Lone Star Love, which will be opening on Broadway on December 3rd at the Belasco Theater.
The production was shut down in Seattle, and Randy was fired from the cast, fined $82,000, and faced expulsion from Actors Equity, the Stage Actors Union. At a January 2008 hearing, Evie tried to film, but was denied. She claimed it was a Nazi plot and ended up assaulting a 76-year-old secretary, kicking them in the shins. In his statement, Randy claimed,
I am guilty of only one thing, giving a performance that elicited a response so deeply felt by the actors and producers with little experience in my creative process that they actually think I'm Falstaff.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done. It's hard work. But it's fun.
This is fake. Yeah, I mean, I don't want the paintball crowd after me. I wouldn't do that. But it's here. It's warm. So
Nebraskans Andy Stock and Rick Stempson won the 2005 Blue Cat competition with their screenplay Gary the Tennis Coach. Emboldened, the duo signed on with a talent agent, whose clientele also included Sean William Scott. Scott signed on as co-producer and lead for the film, and on January 14, 2009, Balls Out, Gary the Tennis Coach, was released direct-to-video, marking, to date, Randy Quaid's final performance in a mainstream Hollywood production.
When I read the script, I thought it was the funniest script I ever read.
Like you, bitch! Get up and rip this motherfucker's butt open! And make him lick his own shit off your huge fucking cock!
What?
I've told him 100 times I don't want to see that faggy two-handed forehand shit, Nibby! One hand, goddammit! That boy doesn't have an ounce of self-respect.
We wrote it about 12 times, at least 12 times, probably more like 20.
I worked with Danny Liner on Dude, Where's My Car, which is, I think, classic, and we should have won an Academy Award for that. I'm a little pissed.
Well, Sean I've been a fan of, since Dude, Where's My Car, and he's very funny. He's very unusual in his attack on comedy. He doesn't hesitate to go to places that a lot of other actors, I think, would be hesitant to tread, but he's got a lot of courage. Can you hold down the fort? I gotta go take a dump. You bet. Roles like this one, like Puddle, you can just have a little more fun with.
Randy keeps throwing his cigarette in the urinal that Gary just cleaned, and it wasn't in the script.
Playing a tennis coach.
And action!
That's something I've always wanted to play, because I always like the look of them with the upturned collar and the floppy hats and the whole tennis thing. It's good, Mike. Hit me right in the balls next time.
We're good?
Great.
Yeah. The movie's gonna make me a big star, 'cause I can play the part so well.
So let's look at the Wonderwall site, if they can go ahead and put it up, and we can keep talking just so people can see it as we kind of get into talking about Wonderwall a little bit. But so part of the goal is you don't want to do the same thing just because it's been done before. And that's obvious here with the Wonderwall site.
It's looking great. Oh, okay.
And I guess this kind of gets into, people will notice in the audience, if you haven't seen the site before, it's actually very horizontal.
On February 5th, 2009, Lloyd Braun launched a celebrity gossip website for MSN called Wonderwall. After seeing unflattering coverage of Randy on the website, the Quaids were convinced his ex-attorney was orchestrating a smear campaign against him.
We didn't create this site because we love celebrity. In fact, for Gail and I to get into the world of celebrity actually was a very dangerous thing because there's a big part of our business that relies on hiring them.
My ex-attorney Lloyd Braun has joined this tribe of bottom feeders by creating his own celebrity gossip website. What is wrong with that picture? When your own attorney starts defaming you, who do you turn to defend you?
They began digging into their business records, where they found evidence of Braun's mishandling of the Montecito property escrow account.
At one point, Evie sent nude photos of herself to a Seattle newspaper with a note that saying, "Here is my German stuff."
Then on June 3rd, David Carradine was found deceased in Thailand.
The autopsy findings and the evidence thus far available demonstrate that Mr. Carradine's death was not the result of a suicide. However, to reach a final determination as to the cause and manner of death, we must wait for further information from Thailand as to the scene findings and the completion of the crime laboratory and toxicology studies that are still being performed.
A private autopsy indicated the cause of death was accidental while engaging in autoerotic asphyxiation, a practice involving choking oneself during a sex act to heighten arousal.
It's a big failure.
While uncommon, autoerotic asphyxiation gone wrong was not unheard of in popular culture. INXS lead singer Michael Hutchence died under similar circumstances in 1997, as did Golden Era heavy Albert Decker in 1968. But to Randy, who'd first worked with Carradine in 1976 on the Woody Guthrie biopic Bound for Glory, there were too many unanswered questions and too many coincidences.
I was muted. Exactly, Malcolm. Right after Kill Bill. Right after the success of Kill Bill. Oh, so we didn't ate off you now. But all them residuals that you about to get off this Kill Bill success, or nah, your time is up, sir. Your time is up. We collecting off that box set, not you. Mm-hmm. Right after Kill Bill. Bill actually left the picture. And the stock was going up. And Randy saw already. I was like, Randy probably done caught on to it already. Like, oh no. He got hit. Somebody whacked him off.
Hey, this is America, Bill, so I want you to live it up, stud man.
He began to consider Chris Penn, his co-star in the 1984 sex dramedy The Wildlife, dead from heart disease at age 40 in 2006.
Why? Because I'm fat? Why, is that why?
Penn was 310 pounds when he died, and the stress on his enlarged heart was compounded by elevated levels of codeine, along with Valium, morphine, and cannabis, according to the toxicology report. Then there was Brokeback Mountain co-star Heath Ledger, who died suddenly in New York City on January 22, 2008. The official cause of death was cited as combined effects of oxycodone, hydrocodone, diazepam, alprazolam, and doxylamine.
Now, Heath Ledger's... Come on, Cam, for this one real quick. Heath Ledger's. We talking about... the greatest Joker to ever do this shit. Right? Among other things. Amazing actor, right? I believe Heath Ledger was also in The Crow, right? Was he also in The Crow at one point? No, right? Am I bugging? Was he set to be in The Crow? No, he was set to be in The Crow. That's what it was. He was set to be in the new Crow. I'm bugging. But anyway, just look up a couple of his movies real quick. Yeah, Brokeback Mountain, Knight's Tale, Dark Knight. What's another? Patriot. That's what I was thinking of. Patriot. I know it's another big movie he was in. Patriot. But Heath Ledger was one that pretty much was an eye-opener to Hollywood. or should I say an eye opener to the average person looking on the outside looking in, that somebody killed Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger wasn't no suicide. That wasn't no suicide. That was when everybody started saying, okay, wait a minute now. It's a little eerie that you died at right during the success, or should I say right during the release of Dark Knight, and it's a huge success hit. What didn't you comply to, Heath? That's what I'm saying. It was set to take him over the edge. That was supposed to be the one to take him over the top. What didn't he comply to that he wasn't able to continue that ride over the mountain? Is what I'm getting at. And that's what Randy was thinking. Like, nah, all these actors getting knocked off right before they big movie takes off, or right when they owe some money and trying to pay off a debt, and this movie's gonna pay off that debt.
However, the circumstances around his death remain hazy, and speculation over Mary-Kate Olsen's possible involvement seemed to evoke the ghost of one of Hollywood's earliest murder mysteries, William Desmond Taylor.
It's about many, many things. It's about the collapse of the economy.
Then there was Jeremy Piven, who had to abruptly leave the cast of the Broadway run of Speed the Plow due to mercury poisoning on December 17th, 2008. That spring, Randy and Evie reached out to private investigator to the stars, Becky Altringer, pleading to look into the union mob that was out to kill them. Altringer investigated their claims, but was unable to find anything substantive to follow up on.
Becky, the Quaids hired you to track down these people who they thought were trying to kill them. What did you uncover?
Well, as I was investigating it, I realized that the only one trying to hurt Randy and Evie Quaid was Evie Quaid.
Really? That's all you discovered? So you didn't find anybody hounding them or threatening them or anything like that?
At this point, the couple were homeless. They stayed for 3 days with Becky Altringer and her partner before they were kicked out on June 27th.
That sounded like she got paid to say that, by the way. That literally sounded like she got paid to say that Evie was trying to kill. Literally sounded like she got paid to say that shit just now.
Altringer witnessed Evie crushing and snorting a pill.
Well, I observed Evie Quaid snorting some type of white substance that she told me was Demerol. But I'm not really sure what it was.
Demerol comes in powder form? I didn't even know that.
No, she would take the pill and squash it up. But I think it was Ritalin, because that was the only prescription that I saw.
Evie later told Vanity Fair she routinely snorted Demerol because
it goes straight to the right side of your brain.
I think he's afraid to leave her because she'll harm him or someone that he cares about.
Oh, I see.
Because that's what I saw.
I agree with that. I believe certainly mental abuse, if not physical abuse, has been used against Randy Quaid, where he's actually first afraid and then falls into the Helsinki syndrome, where he actually believes her lunacy. And in my opinion, she is an absolute lunatic, but he's no longer afraid of her. He now...
See how they already painting the picture for how if something was to happen to Randy Quaid, they're going to make it say that it's Evie that did it? You see how they already trying to paint the picture that Evie would be the one to kill him and set him up when it's not even Evie?
Agrees with her.
I
He's
think
been beaten into submission.
Okay, are you referring to the Stockholm Syndrome, which is Sweden? Helsinki
Yes, I was. I'm sorry. Yes, I was.
Helsinki is in Finland.
they rented a mobile home from Altringer's partner's mother before bouncing around, winding up at the San Isidro Ranch by September.
Actor Randy Quaid and his wife have been released from a West Texas jail after they were arrested for allegedly skipping out on a large hotel bill in California. According to authorities, the two are accused of not paying their more than $10,000 tab at a Santa Barbara hotel. They're charged with burglary, defrauding an innkeeper, and conspiracy. He and his wife were arrested Thursday afternoon. Police say his wife resisted a bit at first, but quickly calmed down.
Yeah.
Chevy is cool.
He didn't bail me out. What?
Address book was in the car, right? So I'm going, how can I find a phone number? I know. A 411, I could call Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers will give me Jerry Weintraub. Jerry Weintraub will give me Chevy's number. So we did it. And then, of course, it was Chevy's answering machine. He called back through this lawyer who said, no, Chevy won't bail you out. Although Chevy misses you.
During one court appearance, they even brought Randy's Golden Globe along.
Evie pleaded no contest to misdemeanor defrauding of an innkeeper, and the rest of the charges were dropped. In June 2010, the Quaids learned of 2 loans totaling approximately $1 million in Randy's name he had no knowledge of at the Roxbury branch of City National Bank. He was told by the teller, supervisor, and vice president he would have to request loan documents through legal representation. In all likelihood, with allegations of criminal fraud being levied, the branch employees were following policy and deferring to their fraud and legal teams. Per Randy, he remained calm but firm in his requests, stating,
I then demanded to see the information about the loans and told them I was not moving away from the window until I did.
Security and Beverly Hills police intervened, and Randy later learned the loans had been paid off and closed February 10, 2010. On August 3, 2010, Randy and Evie Quaid filed a 220-page complaint with the Los Angeles Superior Court, alleging, among other things, that the deed had been forged during the sale of their Montecito home in 1992, and, as such, the transfer of the title on the property was invalid, meaning Randy and Evie still owned the home. The buyer, Bruce Berman, had been an executive for Warner Brothers at the time of the sale, before going on to head Village Roadshow Pictures, where he was the producer on Adventures of Pluto Nash.
This is also the work of Mr. Braun, further confounding the validity of the transfer of my fully furnished property in 1992 to Mr. Bruce Berman.
The Quaids claimed Berman never lived on site before selling the house to J2 Global president Scott Turicchi in 2007, and had used it as a mailing address to divert residuals and royalties from merchandising. While Randy and Evie claimed they had a tax attorney review the document, their pro se filing suffered from improper structuring, lack of appropriate notarization, and an intermingling of unsubstantiated assertions, which diminished the overall credibility of the complaint. For instance, one exhibit needlessly discussed perceived racially motivated hate crime and discrimination, while another suggests a fake identity was created for the purpose of diverting funds that used the name Rhonda L. Quaid.
Smart.
Rhonda Lynn Salmon.
He pulled a mic on Smart.
Was born September 1st, 1949, in Burbank, California, the child of Wilma and Rudolph Salmon. She graduated from Van Nuys High School before marrying Joel Quaid of Santa Barbara, who holds several medical device patents, among other endeavors. Their son Alex is a realtor in the Venice area. Rhonda Lynn Quaid passed away November 14th, 2005, in Santa Ynez. Before the courts could take any potential action on the matter, Randy and Evie began squatting in the since-built guest house at their old Montecito property, leading to an arrest warrant being issued.
In this audio obtained by TMZ, Evie Quaid can be heard screaming during her arrest. She says she became so upset because she claims they are the real owners of the house and the incident is all part of a larger conspiracy.
This time the Quaids fled to Vancouver, where they gave a series of bewildering press conferences.
For the past 20 years, my wife Evie and I have been the victims of criminal activities perpetrated by a small network of individuals who are out to destroy us personally, professionally, and financially.
Randy Quaid joins us now exclusively from Vancouver, Canada, for his first live interview since this all began.
The law caught up with them in Canada last week when they were arrested and thrown in jail. The Quaids say they came here not to avoid the charges in California, but rather to save their lives.
I am being embezzled from by this monstrous ring of accountants, estate planners, and lawyers.
I genuinely feel like these people are trying to kill us.
Who are mercilessly slandering me and trying to kill my career, and I believe murder me in order to gain control of my royalties.
Now, see, the crazy thing is, right, he's pulling a Kanye right now by speaking out publicly so they can't do anything. You know what I mean? So being that he's doing this, so they can't pretty much do a ritual on him anytime soon. because he's done publicly spoke out and say, hey, they trying to get rid of me so he can collect my royalties. He pretty much done let it be known.
Who would be trying to kill us? An estate planner who had created a living trust and a county that could cash Randy's royalty stream forever.
But why would they want to kill you?
So that they could take the money.
It's easier to take the money in that way.
You're afraid of these people who are out to kill celebrities, and you specifically. Why do you have that fear?
It's possible for people to gain control of every facet of your life.
They're businessmen. They're absolute businessmen. It's the mafia. It's organized crime.
For the last 3 years, and really the last 20 years,
letting you know out front, hey, they trying to kill me. They trying to take my money. They trying to take my royalties. They trying to raise the value of me so when I die, because I could already see how they trying to do it already probably. They probably done hit Randy up a few times since then. Like, yo, Randy, you come back right now. We got a big movie for you. I'm pretty sure they didn't try to set him up already with like a big film or a big show or something like that, just so they could line him up and kill him while he's being shot. I'm like, oh, this was Randy Quaid's last film.
I've been racketeered on. My ex-attorney, my ex-business manager, and an estate planner, and they have conspired together to co-opt my
That's a good one there, Little Hat Mafia.
Corporations, put in trustees without my knowledge. I have earned approximately $40 million throughout my career.
Why? Why would somebody want to do this to me?
We are not criminals, nor are we fugitives from justice.
We are refugees. I mean, that's essentially what it is. Hollywood refugees seeking to be.
That's a new one right there. Hollywood refugees.
Left alone.
That's what I should have called this. Hollywood refugees.
Owned by the criminals.
A malignant tumor of star whackers in Hollywood.
But are they now trying to kill you?
Not in a sense where they're going to come over and shoot me with a gun or anything like that, but the way they've manipulated the system, the court system, to have us falsely arrested.
Criminal justice system in this country is a joke.
Banking, owning a house, renting a house, renting a car. I mean, we cannot function.
Our very existence is being challenged.
If things keep going the way they are, and we don't do something about it to expose these people, my wife and I will be out on the street. And we'll have nothing to eat. Okay, that's how bad it is. We've gone, a day here, a day there, without anything to eat, okay, or a place to stay. And that happens more frequently and more frequently. At some point, you're going to end up out on the street. Heath Ledger, Chris Penn, David Carradine among them. I can't believe that David would commit a suicide. His wife has recently come out and said that she doesn't believe that she believes that he was murdered. Heath was an athlete. He played Australian football. He was robust. I believe these actors were whacked, and I believe that many others, such as Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, and Mel Gibson, are being played to get at their money. I've had 8 friends of mine.
So he's saying Mel Gibson could be a target next. So don't be surprised. And Mel Gibson actually spoke out recently. Remember I showed y'all Mel Gibson spoke out about the fires in LA, and he was saying, yo, it seems like an insurance scheme with the fires in LA. I think his son or something like that works for the fire department. He was like, yo, something don't seem right with this. Something seemed like an insurance scheme with this. And we found out that they're building the cities out there in the next 2 years. They're doing the smart cities. They have a smart city plan for 2028, just like they have a smart city plan for Jamaica. That's why the hurricanes happen. I always talk to my Uber drivers about that. They were talking about some when they were going to fix the highways. They're not supposed to fix the highways. It's part of the insurance. That's how they make their money. They break it to build it back. It's never going to be actually fixed. Because if it was actually fixed, people wouldn't have a job.
Who have either died or mysteriously or had scandals surrounding them.
in recent years.
I think he was drugged. I think he was slipped a Mickey. That's my personal opinion.
I think she was sent in to do him in.
Kill him or
No, just figuratively.
To ruin him.
Yeah.
Yes, to steal his money and ruin him.
And this is what I'm talking about when I mean by star whacking. I mean, it's not killing somebody necessarily. It's just creating a scandal or a mystery around a celebrity that that discredits them.
All right.
And Heath, I think it was possible that he could have taken some tainted prescription drugs, yes.
You feel that the same people who you believe killed David Carradine and Heath Ledger, these star whackers, are out to kill you as well.
Well, they are star whackers. They follow us. They tail us. They tag our cell phone. They hack our computer. Now, with the internet, I mean, a celebrity is fair game, and it's all designed to sell advertising space. Google helps out by keeping the negative stories near the top of a celebrity's webpage because it's the negativity that brings in the advertising revenue. Unfortunately,
You heard it right there. Just like how they harness negative energy, they do the same thing with advertisement. Same thing. That's why you see what you gravitate to is more drama, right? You gravitate more towards drama and negativity than anything else. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. That's just how the shit is how you program to be. That's the truth of the matter.
brother Dennis has made matters worse by buying a house from Mr. Braun on property Braun originally bought with money he embezzled from me.
Do you have a relationship with your brother Dennis?
I do, yeah.
Still, are you close?
It's been a little tense the last few years, but I love my brother very much, and we have
We're worried
some differences, but we are. I'm concerned about him because I feel he's being victimized the same way that I've been by the same people and accountants. And I recently discovered, much to my surprise, that Dennis is.
God bless you, Malcolm. God bless you, Malcolm. I was definitely there too with you, brother. When I was 17 years old, I was put out in the streets, and then again at 24, I want to say. Again at 24, I believe, and then with my mom's. Yeah, the anchors definitely are the new. They're definitely part of it. They're definitely part of it. They comply all the way. They have they'll never say no to the money as far as that goes. Because not only the money as much as the exposure. They can capitalize off the exposure even if they lose their job. That's how it works nowadays. You can just gain money off the exposure. Yes, 14 million hardworking citizens in LA. And a lot of them had to leave their homes because they're building a smart city for 2028.
Also on the deed to my Santa Barbara property.
Have you warned Dennis about your concerns?
I've tried, but he doesn't respond.
Dennis is now on a treadmill of making movies that are garbage, and it's unfortunate because he's talented.
And do you understand?
And it's crazy how now that I'm thinking about it, that's probably why he's another reason why he's speaking out, because it's like they're gonna do his brother the same way. They're gonna do his brother like that. It's gonna be one big Dennis Quaid movie. There's going to be one last big Dennis Quaid movie, and then all of a sudden, Dennis Quaid going to just kick the bucket. And he knows why.
And how paranoid.
And that shit's sad. You can see it in his face. That shit fucks with him, that his brother is pretty much on that hamster wheel now. His brother's on that hamster wheel because he's led by that coke. Because he's led by the drugs already. He's already sucked into it. He ain't leaving the hamster wheel. The Hollywood hamster wheel of just doing any old fucking movie now. The same hamster wheel that Randy jumped off of because he saw he was about to get killed off.
Delusional your client sounds.
I'm not going to comment.
Following in-depth pieces on the couple in Vanity Fair and GQ, Randy and Evie decided to embrace their fugitive status as they began work on their expose of the Hollywood cabal.
The film, though, Star Wackers, is anyone, like, I got to see it at the Real
Okay, it's a
Theater. which I loved.
docudrama.
Evie premiered what she described as an impressionistic feature-length documentary about the life and times of Randy Quaid on April 20th, 2011 at the Rio Theater in Vancouver. Before the screening, Evie told the audience,
"This is a work in progress and highly experimental with nudity, adult language, and content throughout. For the first time, I would like an audience reaction to my art as a work in progress so I may understand its content through others' eyes."
Vancouver Sun film critic Peter Burney describes Star Wackers as
drugged out Drek, spouting Shakespeare as he stands in a full fur-length coat, penis hanging out. Quaid must compete with a howling wind. Falstaff he ain't, especially when the coat comes off and we're left to watch naked nuttiness signifying nothing.
Quaid, the American male human is retarded. Our objective is to keep him that way.
That's crazy how he's showing this in his film, though. And of course, him doing it this way, they're not going to look at it like the average person is going to look at it like this is just supposed to be like comedy or slapstick humor or whatnot. And they're not going to look at it from the angle of him trying to tell y'all something like, yo, this is what I actually saw. Like, these are the people that I'm telling y'all that's trying to kill me. He's trying to say it's these people. He's literally telling y'all there's the Hollywood elites, and he's trying to tell y'all how they actually look. By him doing this little scene right here. And yeah, they talked about Tavistock Institute. I forgot the young lady name that we looked at her interview. God bless her as well. The young lady interview we looked at that was that served under Queen Elizabeth. She pretty much talked about the Tavistock Institute and where a lot of them were MK Ultra'd out because she was actually under that same programming, and she saw some things pretty much. So yeah, but it's crazy how he's in his film. He was actually showing all of this shit. He showing you in detail.
Death is traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Will die for us. He will die for us if we keep his brain soft and juvenile, like mutton. You, Quaid, are a certain fool syringe used to inject a certain tranquilizer into the minds of the American male human. You, Quaid, sell beer, bait, and ammo. The tax on beer, bait, and ammo funds recruiting franchises which support human war. You can't live in nature. If you live in nature, you don't have a phone. If you don't have a phone, we can't buy it. Do you understand the problem you are causing us, Quaid?
Let's get to know the Quaids! And Doji Quaid. Hi, Doji.
He lets you know you can't even track me, fool. I ain't got no phone. I ain't got nothing. You can't even, I'm off the grid with it.
You've been working.
I have, yeah.
What have you been working on?
Songs.
Songs.
Yeah.
Very good. I saw your film. You know that. I met you. The Star Wackers.
Yeah,
I love
that
it.
at the Rio.
When we were in Spain, I believe the Wackers were after us because for 48 hours we were completely bedridden, having been poisoned. We really don't know what it was.
There's been racketeering in the Hollywood and embezzlement and all sorts of shady stuff proven for centuries.
Okay, so 5
Why?
Scientists.
Why on earth is he playing that over her talking? Why are you fucking with my ears with that?
Israel, or 12 scientists in Israel. There's a conspiracy that they are being knocked off, right?
Gang. Did y'all hear what she just said? Even though that was playing over that, I'm going to run it back. And then look at this. This is from a year ago. Okay? What's the date? What's the date? What's the date? This is from September 27th. No, not even a year ago. It's 2 years ago. This came out 2024. 2024. Listen to what she just said.
The Hollywood and embezzlement and all sorts
Don't
of
worry
shady
about the
stuff
horn.
proven
Listen to
for-
what she
for
says.
Centuries.
Okay, so 5 scientists in Israel, or 12 scientists in Israel, there's a conspiracy that they are being knocked off, right?
12 scientists in Israel. And I haven't gotten to the 12 scientists that have been knocked off recently, including my boy David Hitchcock. We were going to. I haven't gotten into it because it feels like it's more that I need to know first. Because I understand why they got knocked off. We know why they got knocked off because we started looking into when the first one got missing. When the first one got missing, the FBI was like, well, we don't know where he went. He just left his cabin. When we first started looking at it, it was like, all right, NASA are planning on taking us to the moon. They are trying to figure out how to get the technology together to take us to the moon. I was like, I already see why they knocking the scientists off. The timing is what's bothering me. That's why I haven't done it yet. The timing of them knocking these 12 scientists off is what's bothering me. Because I already knew it was more that's going to be knocked off. But the reason why they being knocked off, just to be clear, because we went over this already, the reason why they're being knocked off is because all of them have knowledge of the technology that is needed to build the ship to get us to space, as well as contain us in space while we are there. Pretty much make the new Earth and spaceship of the new Earth in containment for all of us survivors of the apocalypse that they foresee happening already, that they're pretty much going to cause. But they are preparing for that. That's why those scientists got knocked off, because they all had knowledge of, and they could not be telling people that, hey, they are planning on taking us all to space and this is how they're going to do it. They couldn't risk all those people letting that information out, so they had to go. That's why.
For their knowledge.
Right.
So why? My father explains it this way, and he worked for the RCMP and the FBI. He said, of course you're being racketeered on for their knowledge. Okay, so 5 scientists in Israel, or 12 scientists in Israel, there's a conspiracy that they are being knocked off, right? For their knowledge.
Right.
So why? My father explains it this way, and he worked for the RCMP and the FBI. He said, of course you're being racketeered on. You have a lot of money.
Right.
You know, the bank drives around with their money in vaults and in armored cars. We walk around like a couple of idiots. You know what I mean? With, money falling out of Randy's pocket, making $1 million a movie. Of course people are racketeering on us. It's just we didn't know it was happening for 20 years.
Doji just farted, by the way. Why?
David was whacked. Everybody
Well,
thinks
we know
David
he was
was
whacking, but
I don't know,
he
they
was
think-
whacked.
His wife thinks he was whacked. He was hung in a closet.
It's crazy. He's sitting there trying to make improv jokes and shit. She trying to tell y'all some truth.
I mean, how? It's terrifying.
Autoerotic
that's
fixation, like in excess.
That's one of the theories.
I became terrified for Randy's life after that. How many people do you know
Me?
that have died, personally know, that have died strange, bizarre deaths?
Personally, not many, but
Randy has 8.
Yeah.
Okay, how is that possible? Everybody can remember in college drinking too much beer or eating too much aspirin or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you didn't die,
No.
right? You didn't die.
No.
Michael Jackson, again, a major talent, a major athlete.
Well, they've already said that was murder, right?
No, it's
yes,
a murder
that is-
trial. But was it that doctor? There are lots of unanswered questions in regards to Michael's death.
Tell us
Well, we all know it wasn't the doctor.
about the song
He was just the scapegoat.
that you're going to play tonight.
The first one is we just worked it up. I hope I can get through it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Randy Quaid and the
Hey, bro, I don't know, but there's a certain so-and-so sleeps in your bed most every night. She's not your average Joe. I've heard it said that love is blind, and I don't want to seem unkind. To each his own is what I say, but have you lost your mind?
So what it said was allegedly this is about Meg Ryan. Oh no, about his current wife. Excuse me, not about Meg Ryan. About who's Dennis married to now? Is Dennis Quaid married right now? Who's Dennis Quaid married to now? Lori Savoy. Whoever this is, Lori's. Okay, talking about his current wife now. So I could only suspect that this song is going to be about how this wife is about to murder him.
That's some kind of beauty queen, but I don't think that she's the kind of queen you really mean. So please don't think I'm rude if I have reason to conclude your lady fair is not foursquare. She used to be a dude.
Actor Dennis Quaid and his wife got some life-changing news. They found out that their newborn twins had mistakenly been given a massive dose of heparin, a blood thinner, at the hospital, and were now on the brink of death.
This mistake occurred right under our noses, that the nurse didn't bother to look at the dosage on the bottle.
Hey bro, tell me why the Adam's apple of your eye exhibits
the Adam's apple of your eye? What am I here? Wait, gang. And my mind stopped for a second when I saw how long. Now it's crazy because my friend was just telling me about this. It's certain things you should look for, like a long ass neck. And that was the first thing that stuck out to me. I was like, her neck kind of long. And then I'm looking at this right here, and I'm looking at this masculine jawline. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, gang. Oh no. Oh, is there any evidence though? Is there any evidence? Is the question. Is there any evidence? So far, there's no evidence. But I mean, features are there. Like, I can't go by this after what we saw earlier, right? Oh, wait. You see the indentation in between? Wait a minute. Wait a minute, gang. There are signs. Nerd new eyes. Nerd new eye. Tell me something. Tell me something. What do you see by here? Where your Riddick? I see indentation in the middle. If you know what I'm talking about. Up top. There's something here that's, it's something that's. Blow it up. Can I blow it up? No. Hold on. I'm gonna go to it. I'm gonna act. God damn it. Get this off. I guess I can't go no further. I can't go no further. Something don't look right here. Some damn sure don't look right up here in this long ass neck and this masculine jawline. Something don't look right. And my is freezing. So hold on. I gotta take that off. My shit was freezing. But All right, here go another instance. Oh, wait a minute. No, gang. Wait, gang. Wait, gang. Now I ain't talking about the... Wait, gang. Where's that picture at? Damn it. I wanted to see that. Yeah. Where's this picture at? Hold on, gang. I was saying bony ass. You started saying you got some bony ass shit. What's going on here? Nah, gang. I'm with Randy now, yo. I'm with Randy now, yo.
You really mean, so please don't think I'm rude if I have reason to conclude your lady fair is not foursquare, she used to be a dude.
Actor Dennis Quaid and his wife got some life-changing news. They found out that their newborn twins had mistakenly been given a massive dose of heparin, a blood thinner, at the hospital, and were now on the brink of death.
This mistake occurred right under our noses, that the nurse didn't bother to look at the dosage on the bottle.
Hey bro, tell me why the Adam's apple of your eye exhibits telltale signs that she used to be a guy. Her dainty wrist
can't have kids. She can't have kids.
is the size of your fist and her ankle bones. Will you get the gist? But the way she moves is a giveaway that she is not a miss. Hey, that's okay if that's your world. She really is a prince of a girl. If a tranny spouse puts your boat, then let the sails unfurl. There's really none of my affair. If she's a he, what do I care? But you're my bro, I'm here for you. There's nothing we can't share.
Nothing we can. Yo, P is killing this though. I need this album, Randy. I need to hit DMs. I need to hit the DMs of Randy. You're like, yo, where the album at, man? I need the album. This shit hard.
Like for instance, dude, she used to be a dude. Now tell me true. Tell me if you knew. Did you have a clue when she said I do? Or
did you have a clue when you said I do? Yo, he is killing this. I ain't gonna hold you.
Is it just between you two?
Or was it just between
that she's a he that's become a she with the help of drastic plastic surgery? They changed the plumbing and the way she pees and the nature of her sexuality.
I'm trying to tell you, new household. Oh, Empress Shalani, what's going on? Yo, these are real tears. Oh my God. Yo, he killed that though. Holy. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, dude. You used to be a dude. Did you have a clue when you said I do? Now tell me true. Did you really know? Or is it just
between you two?
Between you two.
Yo, that's an ill hook right there. He even had a dope ass hook.
Thank you. That was a little rough. It was the first time we ever done that one, but we really appreciate you.
I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia with Randy Quaid. Now, Randy's looking for work right now, quite frankly, and it looks like he's formed a new band called Randy Quaid and the Fugitives. He's about ready to do a couple of sets here. Let's go check out Randy Quaid and the Fugitives.
He's on tour with this. I need tickets. I need tickets.
Oh, sleazy star whackers.
Randy Quaid has been arrested in Canada for the second time this year.
Well, there was a development today in the bizarre saga of Randy Quaid and his attempts to stay in Canada. The American actor arrested a week ago in Montreal on a warrant issued back in 2013 for missing an appointment with the Immigration and Refugee Board. He attended a hearing today, and his release was granted if he posts a $10,000 bond. Quaid and his wife first made news when they sought asylum in Vancouver after fleeing the U.S. in 2010. Quaid claimed star whackers were out to kill him.
In May, Quaid was released from a Montreal immigration detention center on a $10,000 bond. During a hearing on May 19th, Quaid looked nearly unrecognizable in a long beard and shoulder-length hair. Quaid and his wife Evie have been living in Canada since 2010. When the actor was detained in May, Evie was as well. She tweeted, "Canada needs to learn how to wake up and criticize its crappy government."
Given what we know about him in the past, I sort of expected maybe that there was going to be some bizarre ranting, but he did seem quite lucid, and he was quite candid with the judge and apologetic about some of the mistakes that he'd made. So it was a bit unexpected in that sense. He seemed a bit more together, if you will, than I might have guessed he might be.
Together's a good word. When he was appearing at immigration hearings here in British Columbia, he talked about star whackers, and he was concerned that he might get attacked by people who whacked celebrities like himself.
Did he really come back? Or did he get replaced to come back?
When he went to the States.
Behind the long hair and Santa Claus beard is none other than Oscar-nominated actor Randy Quaid, still wearing his jail jumpsuit after finally being released.
Anybody know if there's a prison movie shooting or not?
The 65-year-old actor and his wife, Evie, were arrested a week ago after trying to cross into the U.S. from Canada, where they've been hiding out for nearly 5 years. Their problems stem from charges that the Quaids trashed the house they once owned in California, which they denied. Quaid also says he and his wife stayed in Canada for so long to avoid what he calls Hollywood star whackers, people he believes were out to kill him. So what are star whackers? It may be the craziest conspiracy theory ever. The Quaids claim it's a shadowy group who murdered actors David Carradine and Heath Ledger. Now, released from jail after their fugitive from justice charges were dismissed, Quaid and his wife didn't seem to want to talk about the star whackers.
You mentioned something about...
They didn't want to all of a sudden talk about these star whackers now, right? That's what I said. How I know that he didn't get replaced. They caught his ass and they actually got rid of him and the wife and replaced him. How I know that ain't happened.
Staying in Canada to hide from these people who are out to get you. Do you think those people are still... No? Okay.
The couple says they are staying in Vermont.
Hi, I'm Randy Quaid, and this is my wife, Evie. I help media giants News Corp and Warner Brothers Entertainment earn well over $1 billion for the films Independence Day and Christmas Vacation. What did I get in return? A Warner Brothers exec, Bruce Berman, stole my house. And News Corp's The New York Post continues to smear me to high heaven with a pack of lies. For good measure, Warner Brothers even had my wife and I falsely arrested 6 times by TMZ. No, for real. That's really how it works.
In February 2015, Randy and Evie Quaid posted what could be regarded as the spiritual successor to Star Whackers, an obtuse rant against Bruce Berman, Warner Brothers, and the New York Post.
Oh, so this is like 11 years ago he did that video.
If I don't win an Academy Award for Best Actor for Gary the Tennis Coach, I quit. I'm done.
Though Sean William Scott would not be nominated for any award for his portrayal of Gary, the 2-time Teen Choice Awards Choice Movie Sleazebag winning actor continues to work in television and film. Meanwhile, Balls Out, Gary the Tennis Coach, remains the formal coda to Randy Quaid's 38-year career in film.
All right.
Smart man, just left Hollywood. Left it all together. Left Hollywood all together, put them on blast, and now he can just live free.
Can I put the name here, and then shoot us over there?
Unless you can get it all on the front. It's up to you.
For now,
I was praying on cocaine. I'm just curious, like
it was like, help me, Jesus. That, you know, that's enough.
I had what I call a white light experience where I saw myself either dead or losing everything that meant anything to me.
Yeah, and it's about to kill me.
And I put myself into rehab like the next day, and that was before rehab was cool. Yeah, before they had like cold pools and massages and things like that. It was in the hospital.
What year was it?
It was at the hospital basement.
What year was this?
That was 1990.
Dennis Quaid reports quitting cocaine in 1990 and credits his sobriety today to his surrender to Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I had to kind of relearn everything.
We know that's
the
bullshit.
truth. And you know, it works on your nervous system, and you know, go through depression and this and that.
We know that's bullshit.
Grit my teeth, and I got through it. Went to meetings, but I started reading the Bible again.
In 2023, he released his debut gospel album, Fallen, a gospel album for sinners.
I went for a tour out down the desert highway. I should bring
I guess music just ran in the Quaid family, huh?
up your brother, Randy. Yes. Shitter's full. Merry Christmas. I don't know what his status is. I can't tell you. But where is he?
I forgot his damn name too, but he been in some funny ass shit too. He's in Pee-wee Herman, couple damn movies too. I can't remember his name now. Funny guy.
I think he's somewhere in Vermont.
With the situation a few years ago with Randy saying the stuff that he said with Hollywood and all that stuff, is he still in that same state, or he's no longer there?
Randy doesn't like me to talk about him and what's going on with him. All I can say is that I really love my brother, and I miss my brother. And I will say this, you know, Randy could have like a great third act.
Randy could have a great third act.
He could have a great third act in the movies, and I would love to see that. He's one of the best actors I think we've produced in this country. He's one of my 5 favorite actors. But I'd love to see him have a third act. Wouldn't you?
Thanks for watching.
Amazing though. So pretty much, as I said, Randy Quaid pretty much came back to the States. Now, that's not to say that they might not still get rid of him later on, now that he done came back. You know what I mean? Especially being that this is like 2 years old already, and that he done did that, 10, 11 years ago, that video about the elites trying to whack him off still. They can still get him now. They can still get him now. But if they was to get him now, you would know why they got him. That's the one part that he always wanted to have out there, and I'm glad he did the whistleblowing he did. He at least got the truth of how a lot of Hollywood actors get knocked off and why they get knocked off. He's one of the main whistleblowers that at least was able to live to tell about how Hollywood is knocking off actors to recoup and take their money. And it's no different than how they do in the music business.